Welcome to Encroachment Sports Talk. It's week 18, final week of the season, and the playoffs are coming.
Yep.
Um, who do you like in each conference for the last? Every seed is clinched except the last seed, the seventh seed in each conference. So, who do you like as the seventh seed in the AFC and the NFC?
Yeah, so I'll do it a little differently we have most of our viewers that are really educated on this and know all this, but let me just go back and do some basics. So looking at what's the probable outcomes right now, you're looking at Kansas City this is the AFC, obviously. Kansas City you've got the Chargers versus the Jags. If the Jags win again this game against the Titans, they're at home, and I think favored. Ravens, Bengals, and then you've got Patriots, Bills. I hate to say that, Mark, but yeah, Patriots, Bills is the one that they're saying, but that could be the Dolphins, obviously. So that would be what they predict right now. Of those three teams, I see three power teams. I see Kansas City.
Okay. Who specifically? Who do you think is getting that seventh seed in the AFC?
Yeah. So if I had to. It's going to be about how the Bills play, in my opinion. I mean, because are they going to be ready to play this game? They don't have as much to play for now.
And they have everything to play for.
Yeah. They have a seeding to play for.
They have neutral site for the AFC Championship game to play for.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So they will play for it. So, but what they're saying is the Patriots are probably the favorite to take it, and I don't have any strong. The Steelers could take the Dolphins or the Patriots, but the Dolphins are on their third string quarterback. They're playing at home against the Jets. I don't know how the Jets are going to play. I mean, in other words, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. You don't care to look at the seventh seed in the AFC. So
no.
The Patriots are 7-point dogs right now, at least, or a couple of days ago. I think even before they saw that Hamlin was coming out and had his FaceTime with the team that is like a win-win for the Gipper opportunity for the Bills. Right. But I'm actually going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get in.
Really? You're not going to pick your Dolphins?
I'm not going to pick my Dolphins. I think the Bills are going to take care of the Patriots because they have a lot to play for, especially with these rules that were all very Bills centric. And the Steelers are hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Dolphins are playing at a tough defense with, I don't know if you know this, but every game that Tua has missed, the Dolphins have lost almost in the last 2 years. But also, every game that Tua has missed, their starter hasn't made it through the game, so they're back up. And so now I think Teddy
Mark would only you would know this, Mark. I swear to God.
There's plenty of suffering Dolphin fans that know this. But so I see the Steelers, and so my theme for who's getting in are the two blue bloods that always make it, no matter what. You want to leave them for dead, they'll always make it, and that's Pittsburgh. And I think Green Bay is getting in the Well,
you stole my thunder. I agree with you on Green Bay. But so let's just talk about the way I wanted to look at the AFC is, so who are the power teams there? Who could go to the conference final? And then I've got one sleeper that I think, and I'll tell you why. So the three power teams, in my opinion, are Kansas City, the Bengals, and the Bills. The Bengals are playing really well. The Bills and Kansas City have been the cream of the crop for the last few years, and certainly this year as well. My sleeper is the Chargers. They're getting healthy at the right time. Their defense is. They may even get Bosa back. They have got all their offensive weapons back and working now with Eckler, Allen, Williams, and Herbert's playing better. I mean, I think they could ruin somebody's day in that AFC. My final pick is the Bills, frankly, but that's subject to how they react to what's going on in this situation. I mean, it could go either way. This could either motivate them or it could distract them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the Chargers is probably an interesting sleeper pick. I think it's a clear-cut top three. I know that the Chargers are clicking a little bit, but they're about to be tested in cold weather. And Herbert is he's been clutch in sort of like early season, big, primetime games at the end, but let's see what he can do. He kind of in college sort of had the knack for making boneheaded decisions at the wrong time. So, but that's a good interesting call. I think this Bills team is going to play out like the 2013 Boston Red Sox, with the they had the bombing,
The
marathon bombing, and David Ortiz with his famous speech about this is our bleeping town.
Yep.
And it just motivated. I think had Hamlin, it's early, hopefully he continues to progress, but he was off of the ventilator. He was talking. I think that's going to motivate the team. His interest when he came out was, did we win the game?
Yep.
I'm sure that got to the team. And refs are human. The NFL likes ratings.
Yeah.
There are so many calls that are subjective in the NFL. I think the Bills are going to be the NFL's darling.
I think that's absolutely right. And frankly, I think Josh Allen is ready. Do you remember the game they played with Kansas City last year?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I think he's motivated on like 18 different fronts, right? So I think this is the Bills' year for the AFC as well.
Yeah. And then in the NFC, I was thinking sort of the same. I totally agree with your top three teams in the AFC. In the NFC, you could make a strong case for any team except the Giants to come out of the NFC.
And the Vikings.
No, you can make a case for the Vikings. I don't like their draw.
And I don't like their division, frankly, but their defense. I just don't like their defense right now.
Right. So I don't like their draw in the second round matchup against the likely second round matchup against the Niners.
Yep.
Because the Niners defense is tough against anybody, and then the Vikings defense is bad enough to allow Brock, even a rookie seventh round pick who's going to be facing, he's done well in games that nobody watches in the afternoon, in prime time. But I think the Vikings will do just enough. But the Vikings have had some magic this year. They beat the Bills on that amazing game. They came back from like 75 points down against the Colts. So that's the case for the Vikings. They might have that it factor where you can leave them out, mark them for dead, and they're going to come back.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't want to discount that. It's been a magical year, and certainly, I want it to continue as far as possible. I'm the first one to want that, but I also want to be realistic. So my three power teams in the NFC are Philly, Dallas, and the Niners. Okay, those are the three power teams. I think the one spoiler or the sleeper for me is the Packers. I'll tell you why. I just watched them last week. I've been watching them you watched them a couple of weeks ago with the Dolphins. Their defense has really improved. They got a shutdown corner in Zaire Alexander. He's that good. He's been playing that good. Their defense has improved. They have a really good running game with Jones and Dillon. They can pound you. Their Bakhtiari's back at their tackle position. And Rodgers has figured out his new, young receivers finally a little bit. So I think they could give somebody, and that's another spoiler in my world. I think the Packers could spoil it somewhere. Although they have to play on the road, which is different, right? They're a whole different team at Lambeau.
They have to play on the road with those young receivers, and hopefully they won't be playing the whole second half against a concussed quarterback. So,
Exactly.
They did get lit up to the tune of 20 points and 225 passing yards in the first half versus Miami. So yeah. I'm not sure that their defense is that much of a lockdown.
Yeah, well, I agree. It's improving, let's say, and I think they figured out.
Yeah, they're scary. It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
That's it. Yeah, he's magical in and of
Even Tampa Bay.
I think I'm not buying the new Tampa Bay, renewal. I think Lenny Fournette, Lenny, as Tom Brady calls him, Lenny. He's playing with the Liz Frank issue. So I don't know if you know that, but he's been struggling. He plays well, but I don't know how long he can take that, especially in cold weather. That Liz Frank stuff is not something to sneeze at. And the Rachaad White guy is pretty good, but it's not the same run game without Lenny. And then the receivers are talented. The defense is good. I just don't see. I still think Tom Brady. It's someday the age is going to catch up. His arm strength is not the same to me.
No, it's not. It's not. But it hasn't been the same. He's had a weak arm. I left him for dead 3-4 years ago. His last year with the Patriots, and it's just Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, he might find a way. I could die on my sword on that one.
So who do you like coming out of the NFC?
And I'll tell you why. And you probably agree with me too. The 49ers. And I hate to say it because that's a team I hate to love because I used to kind of live in that area and it was all about 49ers. But I'll tell you why I like them. They have a tremendous defense, a defense so good and so dominant that a quarterback, that kind of a game manager quarterback like Purdy can actually survive. He doesn't have to put up 30 points. He can put up 24 points, 21 points, and maybe win the game. You put that game manager with that defense, then you add to like McCaffrey and Deebo Samuels and Kittle. I mean, they have so many offensive weapons. Ayuk. I mean, I think they are going to be tough to beat.
I don't agree with you. I see them going to the conference final because of that matchup with the Vikings. But I see the Jalen Hurts coming back this week. Even if he doesn't come back this week, the Giants have nothing to play for. So I see the Eagles winning, getting home field advantage, and facing the Niners in Philadelphia, and a 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant quarterback. It's just he's gonna come up just short. I do like the Niners are tough. They're playing great, but the clock's gonna strike midnight on Cinderella.
I've been there. I mean, I remember having the NFC Championship game at Philly with what I thought was a better quarterback at the time, and it did strike midnight. So I'm with you. Philly's a tough place to play. Yeah. Their defense is better. They had one injury recently that was pretty significant on their line. I forgot the guy's name, but he's like second in their sack total. I don't know what his situation is. But you're right. Jalen Hurts has had another magical season. He could be the MVP. They got lots of weapons.
Yeah.
That would be
So so you got Niners and Bills. I have Eagles and Bills. And who do you like winning it all?
I like the Bills. You got to Cinderella. I mean, this is going to be, like I said, if you're right, which is they take that moment and make it inspirational, not a distraction. I think there's nobody that can stop them.
Yeah, I like the Bills too, although I wouldn't say there's nobody that can stop them. I would say this year is the most.
No, it's very open. It's very open.
The odds of us being wrong are higher than in
you're right. I mean, you and I would be completely retired if we knew who's going to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the bottom line is we're not Mattress Mac and putting $10 million down on the line here. But if I had to pick it, I'd say the Bills have as many weapons, as much depth, as much talent as anybody in the field. And then you throw on that kind of inspirational. Yeah, it's a very passionate game. It's very much about momentum and passion. Football is. You put that, and that I think that puts them over the top. So,
and again, officiating.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many gray area calls where you can affect the outcome of a game, and we're going to get into in the offseason. We're going to talk about some rules changes to take away some of these gray area calls. But the refs are human. The refs were watching that game.
Yeah.
The refs are rooting for the Bills.
Yeah, you and I can actually write probably a dissertation for a PhD in pass interference. It's unbelievable. So inconsistently applied, but that's for another day. But I thought this was a good discussion, Mark.
You have any final thoughts?
No, I'm just, I'm excited. The games start for me and for you. They start in a couple hours, and I'm looking forward to watching the Jags play the Titans because that's for a spot, right? Yeah. I mean, it's an early playoff game to me, so it's do or die.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. I think we both agree that the Titans are dead.
Yep.
They're down to forget the guy's name.
Here's the other caveat. This is why they play the games, right? But unless King Henry has 40 carries for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, which could happen.
Yeah.
It's like a 1% chance or less, but it could happen.
Yeah.
But if they control the clock, he's dominant. They can't stop the run. and Dobbs just is essentially out there to hand the ball off. I see, because the Titans don't have a bad defense. I could see it happening. Who knows?
Yeah, and that needs to be Miami's game plan as well against the Jets. Like the reason they lost to the Patriots last week and aren't already in the playoffs is because Teddy Bridgewater made a stupid, ill-advised, pass that got picked and returned for a touchdown when they were leading in the late third quarter.
Right.
So don't
turn over the ball.
Don't beat yourself. Let the Jets beat themselves. They got very little to play for. The Jets' run defense is mediocre. It's 16th in the league. Pass defense is great. What I would do is run, and then take advantage when they sneak up, go deep to Hill or Waddle once in a while. Because if you're throwing a pick on a deep ball, it's unlikely to get returned.
It's like a punt too.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and don't worry about necessarily scoring. Your defense is going to set yourselves up. The Jets have their 3 offensive linemen that started last week are all out. They're down to Joe Flacco, who's not mobile. I am worried that he's a veteran. He'll find a way to pick apart.
Yeah, he's looked good a couple of times when he played this year. So I mean, don't count him out.
I do see the Jets winning. I think the Dolphins, for whatever reason, well, I don't think they'll roll over because they haven't been blown out this year. They battle, but they find a way to come up just short. And I think part of it is a rookie head coach not knowing exactly how to pull the right strings and obviously the health situation. But anyway, that's why I'm even as a Dolphin homer, I am picking the Steelers to come in out of the.
I'm surprised, but I give you credit for being pretty unbiased there. I hope for your sake, and I'll be pulling for it too. I hope the Dolphins win, and I hope they have an opportunity to get in the playoff field. So will Teddy be back if they do make the playoffs? I don't know.
Teddy for sure, Tua possibly. Who knows? I wouldn't want to see that, but who knows where things are headed. But anyway, awesome. Then we'll see how it plays out, and we'll discuss it next week. And
perfect.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's great. Sounds good.